I'm going to be showing you how to queue up 3D prints in Bambu Slicer software, and then how to actually 3D print it out. What you want to do first in OnShape is we want to go to our actual part that we want to end up 3D printing out. As you can see over here, I've got this where it's my Fiat 500, and I've got these 4 tires as well in here. If you want to print out all of these parts together, then what you would want to do is go ahead and click on this, hold down Shift, and then click on your last part. Basically, what we would want to do is create a composite part, is what that's called. And so that's what I've got here. And so how do we create the composite part? After selecting all of these parts, you can end up going into here, search Tools, type in composite part. As you can see, it's this guy right here. If I click on that, that's going to basically combine all of these parts together, and so that's this part right here. You press green check mark, and then you could actually go through and name this part. So I would name this Fiat, and then I'm going to go version 4. So what we're going to put in here. So now what we'd want to do is you only have one composite part showing up here. You would right click this, and then you would click export. Now, if it's the case where you only have one part, you just simply click on that part and then click export. So we're going to go click export here. There are a couple settings that we want to end up using. Your file name will be different. What I did is I established export rules for this, so that is the part name and then also a timestamp. If you don't have that, simply totally fine. You can change the name of your file. Remember, it's always important to give your files good names. What we then want to do is we're going to click this drop down. You want to scroll down. It's going to automatically select Parasolid at first. You want to scroll down to STL, select that. Up next, what we're going to want is the units to be in millimeter. If you end up putting in centimeter, your part will come in very, very small. If you put in inches, your part will come in very, very, a whole lot bigger than it needs to be. So I'm going to select millimeter. And then resolution, I always like to go fine on this. Options here, you can just put download, so download. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna click export. Now what's gonna happen is this is gonna download into my folder here. Up next, we wanna make sure that we have installed the Bambu Handy app on our phone. This basically allows us to sign in into the Bambu, X1 Carbon, or P1P, P1S, A1, A1 Mini, any of those Bambu printers that you've got. But it allows you to sign in with the QR code. So if you do not have the Bambu Handy app, you can get it here by hitting this QR code for Apple, and if you have Android, you can hit this QR code here. Basically, you're gonna want to go ahead and install that app. You can pause the video and then come back once you've got that installed. All right, so we've downloaded this file. What we're going to then do next is get the Bambu Studio app going. So if you do not have the Bambu Studio app, you can end up going in here. You can click software and then click Bambu Studio. That's going to end up allowing you to download this for either Mac or Windows as well. And so I have Mac, so I would end up clicking there, but if you have Windows, that would be it. Now, if you're on our school desktop computers, this is actually already installed. What you can simply do is just press the Windows key on your keyboard. It looks like this. Then type in Bambu Studio, and then that will bring it up. So this is what the Bambu Studio app looks like. Up here in the top left, you can see that there's a login or register. If you do not have an account, what you would want to do is you would click create account here. You could use your school email to actually create your account. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and log in here. So login successful, then it's going to prompt you to open Bambu Studio again. I always like to click synchronization, yes. And so as you can see now, I'm logged in onto here, all right? Now, the one thing that you need to make sure that you do is if you click device, you should end up seeing your printer on here. Now, if you're not connected to the printer, what you would have to do is go to the printer, and then you'd have to go to the QR code. I will put the little symbol in the corner of the screen on what symbol you click on to get the QR code to sign into your device. But basically your device should show up in here. What we can then do is actually prepare our print. And so if I go to this print bed, we've got X1 carbons here at the school. However, you can end up getting other system presets. So I have a P1P as well as a P1S at my house. So now we've got the X1 carbon selected. We've also got a plate type, which is the textured PEI plate. It'll say that in the corner of your plate. Some of you all might have the cool plate. If that's the case, then you select that. But for all the printers at the school, we've got the textured PEI plate. What I then want to do is I want to click this add command. So I can click add here. And then what I want to do is go to my downloads and find that file. So then I can click open and put that in here. Now, in terms of this, some things that we want to end up doing, we do want to usually auto-orient, and so auto-orient is going to end up finding the best orientation to print out on. Now, as you can see for my car, if I end up printing in this orientation, it's actually going to leave a textured part on this side. And so in that case, I actually disagree with how Bambu Labs has oriented this. I'm going to keep it in this orientation because I find it important to make sure that these sides look good. What I'm then going to do is we want to ensure that there is support. So for any layers that are like the layers down here at the bottom, if I don't generate support, it's basically going to try to deposit material into thin air. So it's always important to have the support. If I end up clicking slice plate, then you can end up seeing it actually did not render for that. Let's see here. Yeah, so it did not render for this, but basically it's going to end up putting material down here for the supports. Let's see if I can end up finding it in here. Okay, so it doesn't show up on there. But basically we do want the supports to generate. I always like to use the tree supports is what I like to end up using. So I do tree. And then what I like to do is on build plate only, might be because of these two. Let's see here, let's slice the plate. Okay, now you can see that these tree supports came in. So basically it's gonna create material, it's gonna deposit material here so that then that first layer on this bottom part has something to actually deposit onto so that it's a nice clean straight line at the bottom there. So now this is it. So these are the tree supports. Other options is you could go to normal, auto. I always like to use tree supports though. And then basically what we wanna end up doing is we can look at the different settings here. So there's quality, there's also strength. And so strength here, usually we use a sparse infill density of 15. If you end up making that higher, you're going to end up using more material, which is gonna cost you more money. However, it is going to be a stronger print. And so maybe for a keychain, that's something that you might want to end up going up to 20 25 or 30, and make it a whole lot stronger. But anyways, you can end up messing with these settings if you'd like to. Another thing we can end up doing is we can establish variable layer height. And so basically what this is going to do is this is going to change the layer height as well. So in areas where we want to have higher quality, it'll actually end up establishing smaller layer lines, as you can see here, and so that the quality is going to be a whole lot better at that spot rather than right here. Basically, the Bambu Lab software determines, hey, this layer needs to have a closer or a smaller layer offset, and so it'll increase the quality in those parts. You can also end up smoothing this out. This makes it less evident that there's a change in the actual height of those layers. So I usually like to do that as well. It makes our prints come out pretty nice. The last thing is using the AMF, so there's color printing as well. And so if I end up going in here, I can actually select a device, and so that's going to be the Heat is the printer that has the AMS over here, and so you can see I have all these different colors that are established on there. Those are the colors we currently have loaded in, and so if I wanted to, I could end up switching the colors here, and so I can go with white and I can go with black. Now I can click Fill here, and then what I can do is I can actually go in here and I can change the color of these windows, and so that they end up appearing black. I can also end up changing the color of these brake lights so that those appear red. I could also go in here and I could change the color of these guys so that these appear orange if I would like to. And so I think I'm going to actually do that. Then what I can do is I can make sure that I select all these different parts on this. The other thing is that we probably want our tires to be black as well. So I can end up going in, we can put the tires as black. And so now one thing that I do want to show you is this. So on my front windshield, I actually made a mistake with the file. So what I have to do is edit this. But if I try clicking on this, you'll see my entire car turns black. And so in this case, basically this was filleted. And so if it is filleted, it's just rounded out. So basically it's seeing this as one whole surface here. So that's a change that I want to make to the windshield itself. But anyways, that's pretty solid. What we can then end up doing is slicing plate. And then so now we can end up clicking print plate. You'll see that this is going to end up taking 7 hours, 41 minutes for mine. Now why is that? It's because there's all these different colors on here being used. And so if we go back here, I can actually go back to my painting. I can erase all the painting. And if I slice this plate, you're going to end up seeing it takes a whole lot less time when there was just one single color being printed out. So it's only an hour and 4 minutes. What we would then do is I'm going to go ahead and follow through with printing this out so that it's just the single color. I can click print plate. What we're going to do is we're going to select the printer that we want to use. I'm going to use the Heat printer. If this is not showing up, you can refresh after you hit that QR code. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and select send. And so that's going to send it over to the 3D printer and allow it to print out. Anyways, hope that video was helpful. If you got any questions, please feel free to drop a comment. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you all so much. Catch you later. Bye-bye.